All right, Eric, we're live. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You've done it before. This is an update to your campaign, but go ahead and introduce yourself for people who don't know.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Eric Frame. I am running for state senate in Sacramento area. That's District 6 of California. I am running as an independent, no party preference. And I'm also a council member. I remain a council member and a registered Green, by the way, just for the Green people out there. I am still a registered Green and a council member of the Sacramento Green Party. I just switched over to independent and NPP because there's a lot of demand out there for a no party preference candidate and an independent candidate from the constituents that I've been speaking to. So that was the main reason for the switcheroo. But yeah, I'm a big advocate of healthcare as a human right, proper healthcare as a human right, and I'm a big advocate of homeless rights in Sacramento, and I'm involved in the local politics of Sacramento, and as in going to city councils and fighting for homeless rights, the right to rest, the right to ask for help, which is being trampled on right now. And yeah, I'm really excited to get the campaign rolling because we're about to hit the signature stage of our campaign. So I'm really looking forward to it. And thanks for having me, Mike.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Say that.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Oh, of course, Eric. Anytime. Hey, so this is an update to your previous. You've done a couple interviews with us, but you did one for your campaign initially, and you said that you're in the signature stage. Can you talk to us about that and what you need to do now to get on the ballot?
Yeah. So on December 14th, I'm going into Secretary of State to get my signature forms from the Secretary of State. We need to gather at least 2,000, but the goal is to gather more like 3,000 or 4,000 because a lot of signatures get thrown out. So each signature is basically worth 50 cents. There's a sitting fine or, a fee for ballot entry that's sitting there at around, $2,000, $2,500. But that fee goes down as signatures go up. So as you gather signatures, that fee is decreased, and it can be zero if you get enough signatures. So, the main thing is I'll be out there talking to people, which I have been doing, but this will really be, a gusto talking to people and knocking on doors and informing people about the campaign. So, yeah, I'm really excited to start gathering signatures on December 14th, and we have 88 days exactly to gather as many as we can.
88 days from December 14th?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And so let's start off. Usually I end this way, but let's start off because I think it's important to talk or tell us what your website is and how people can get, first of all, donate to you and also volunteer, potentially go out and door knock with you to gather those signatures or maybe table. So go ahead and tell us about your website.
Yeah, you can look it up on ericframeforsenate.org. On that website, there's a contribution page. You can look at the contribution page. You can contribute. Yeah, and in terms of volunteering, there's a contact page. Just contact me. Send me an email at senatorframe1776@yahoo.com. We can use we have a team. We have a team that's going to be going in several different sections of the district. So I'm excited about having a team, an actual team. But we can always use more, and we plan on gaining more as we door knock. So if you're in the Sacramento area specifically, that would be excellent to get in contact with myself or my team.
Excellent. Okay. So one of the issues that's really important to you, I'm going to go ahead and get into the issues. One of the issues that's very important to you is the homeless issue there in Sacramento. And also that there's an ordinance against feeding the homeless. So can you talk about your advocacy for the homeless and how you get around the prohibition of feeding the homeless?
Yeah, well, I do feed the homeless on a weekly basis with a group called Healthy Helpings, which at the moment I'm kind of doing all of it, but I have some volunteers coming soon to help out. We clothe as well as feed and just talk to people. I spoke to a man named Mr. Cummings last week. He's a teacher. He's been a teacher for 29 years, and he has his license in various states across the nation. He has his license in Kansas and in Mississippi, where he went to school. He graduated from Jackson State, Mississippi. A normal man, and he tried to get a teaching license here in California, but for some reason he can't get a teaching credential here in California, which I don't know why exactly, because he has a license in other states, but California, as we know, is the most corrupt state in the union. So that's probably part of why he was not able to get a license. So yeah, it's just been fun to talk with people and meet people on the streets, and you know, they're really supportive of my campaign and are willing to help out, and they will be helping out very soon. In terms of the recent ordinances, the city council passed anti-panhandling ordinance. We already have an anti-solicitation and panhandling ordinance on the books, but this one makes it even harder. There's all these 30 feet rules. You have to be 30 feet from a business, 30 feet from a bus stop, 30 feet from an ATM. I mean, some of these sort of make sense. I mean, from an ATM, sure, but in the end, it's unconstitutional. This is a panhandling ordinance that has been tried in various states across the union and has been fought by good lawyers fighting it, and it has been ruled unconstitutional. So we have hope that some lawyers from Sacramento, some good-willed lawyers from Sacramento will put a stop to this panhandling ordinance, but it passed unanimously amongst our city council, of course. So yeah, my solutions to homelessness include pretty obvious ones. We have vacant lots all over this city. We have vacant buildings all over this city. We can at least save people's lives in the winter and provide an emergency safe ground, since it's still illegal to camp in Sacramento. It's illegal to camp in Sacramento, private property, and even if you have permission from that private property owner, it's illegal to camp. So California is very, very backwards in many, many ways, and that's just one thing a lot of people need to find out. One big stat we've been finding out, you know, we're always told by the Sac City Council and the County Board of Supervisors that, you know, Sacramento only has 3,000 homeless total, or 2,500. Well, on counts of students, that there are at least 3,600 homeless students going to Sac State alone. So to say there's only 3,000 total is a complete lie. You know, and then in elementary school, there's thousands of students that are homeless. To have parents also. So that's already way over the number they're feeding us. So we know we're getting fed some lies about the total number of homeless, and we keep, you know, spread the word about, you know, that grievance.
Right. I've also read recently that, you know, there's a new generation of homeless babies being born. I mean, because homelessness is so rampant, you know, people are living out of their motorhomes. I mean, actual families are just on the streets, that now we're having a lot of children born to homeless families. And now you're telling me that there's a much more homeless students. And this goes, you know, this touches on free college tuition and student loan debt. It seems like a crisis that we're just not addressing enough. And when you say that they're passing unconstitutional laws at the city level, what is there in place to prevent that?
Well, nothing apparently, because it's still happening. I mean, our voices are, you know, at least expressing the truth of the unconstitutionality. And you can go, I share the public comment section of city councils, and I videotape, you know, the public comment section of city councils. That's where the truth is at. Unfortunately, we could say the truth as much as we want, but will our representatives who don't truly represent us, will they actually do anything about it? No, not until we remove them, you know, recall and replace, hopefully, or just get some people active in campaigning for city council positions. There are a few people that I know that I'm, you know, proud to support at the city council level, but we need that entire city council replaced right now, because they don't represent us. They represent, you know, the big developers. They represent big pharma. You know, they just don't represent the people, and they don't listen to the people. You can watch Daryl Steinberg, our mayor, his decorum when it comes to public comment. Half the time he leaves, the second public comment starts. The other time it's, okay, you have to do 2 minutes. You know, he'll give you 20-second warnings. He'll try and stop someone in the middle of a free speech, just using the free speech for no reason at all, other than he's a little annoyed. You know, he kind of acts like a child in that way. But you know, we just need to replace these pseudo representatives is the main thing.
And so you think it's because that they represent the corporations, basically because the corporations are paying for their campaigns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they don't.
Among other bad entities, you know, big pharma is huge into it, and you know, why keep homelessness going? I have some theories. Mainly, the main theory being that you know, Sacramento's been called the hub of child trafficking and human trafficking by the FBI. It made the top 18 list, and I think, I'm pretty darn sure this child trafficking and human trafficking starts at the top. You know, the top of the pyramid of the leaders of Sacramento. And as long as homelessness is still around, you know, the police are busy trafficking the homeless with unconstitutional ordinances, and they're not busy looking into this human trafficking, child trafficking, which I'm sure starts at the top, as we found out in Washington, D.C. from some of the revelations from WikiLeaks.
Right. So, okay. Let's talk about police oversight there. You think that we need more police oversight there in Sacramento? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely, and you know, that's twofold for two reasons. I mean, I just mentioned one. We've been deemed a hub of child trafficking, and the police are busy with these unconstitutional ordinances. They're busy trafficking the homeless. I say, you know, trafficking the homeless from place to place. Meanwhile, we're the hub of child trafficking. So something's going very wrong there, where, you know, crimes are not being fully, you know, investigated. On the other side of things, well, on the same side of things, basically, we had a great city council where a lot of people showed up demanding police oversight, and that was mostly Black Lives Matter Sacramento showing up and doing a great job of just everyone. They brought their speeches and demanded police oversight, citizen oversight of the police. And that's because the police have, you know, in Sacramento, killed many, you know, Latino men and women, or, you know, they killed them and they're mentally ill, or they've been shot 18 times in the back, or they've been tackled for jaywalking when it wasn't even illegal in that section to jaywalk, and beaten down. You know, there's all these names: Desmond Phillips, Joseph Mann, all these names of people that have died by the hands of the police and police brutality in Sacramento. The city, so there is a something going on, a law and ordinance in the books trying to get this citizen oversight. But what's happened is the only oversight of the police lies with the city council. And as we know, we can't trust our city council whatsoever. So when city council comes and says, oh, don't worry, we're oversighting the police, you know, that's no help at all. That's nothing. In fact, it's an insult to our intelligence. We the people need to have oversight of the police, not the city council that we can't trust. I mean, I'm telling you, we need to replace them, you know, so we can't trust bad guys to overlook bad guys. You know, we need to overlook the training completely. You know?
Yeah, I think one thing police oversight is that police oversight only goes so far, because you're talking about internal review and internal punishment in the police department for the police and the misconduct that they do. I think another problem is our judicial system. For instance, our judges and our district attorneys that don't press charges on police and give them, you know, they're basically immune for prosecution. And I think that's really where we can focus on, because our judges and our district attorneys are elected officials. So if they're not doing the job that we expect them to do, we should be trying to replace them.
I completely agree.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you talked about sometimes minorities are being targeted by police disproportionately. Colin Kaepernick has done an NFL kneeling for the national anthem protest. Can you talk about that? And you know, he's essentially been blackballed from the NFL. What's your opinion on that?
Well, my opinion is that he has all the right in the world to sit down or kneel down for the anthem. This is an anthem about a flag itself. You know, one thing about the anthem that is a little bit truthful is it says we are a republic, right? You know, and a lot of people don't know that we're a pseudo democracy that's really a republic. So I don't know. I like to make that point about the anthem. And you know what I've heard about Kaepernick is that veterans were the ones that recommended he kneel down for the anthem. And there are a lot of veterans out there that are homeless. I've spoken to many that are homeless, and there's terrible numbers about, you know, the amount of veterans that commit suicide every day. Around 22 a day commit suicide. So, you know, our nation, our government is not taking care of even our veterans. So they should, I mean, some veterans kneel too for the anthem. So, and I mean, it was police brutality originally, but you can pick any issue in the world right now, and I'm down to kneel for that. I mean, you know, chemotherapy is why I knelt originally, or I sit down during city council, is my mother died because of chemotherapy. And there are real treatments out there for cancer, and when a nation makes it illegal to treat cancer with anything but chemo or radiation or surgery, you know, there's something terribly wrong. And I have the right to sit down and, you know, and then voice why I sit down. And the reason I sat down first was because we need proper health care as a human right, not this death care system that we have now.
Absolutely. Let me back up to Kaepernick a little bit. A lot of people say that Kaepernick or people in the NFL earn a lot of money, so that they should do what the NFL tells them to do. What's your view on that?
Well, first of all, I really don't think sports players should be making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. I think we could spread the wealth a little better, in my opinion. We have, you know, people making what, $10.50 is the new minimum wage. We'll have $15 eventually. You know, I'm for a living wage for all people so that we could at least afford to live somewhere. So that might put a dent in the homelessness, since half the homeless population, you know, is working at the moment. So, so, you know, the NFL, how many people have started sitting down for the anthem in the NFL? You know, a lot of teams have joined Kaepernick in this protest, which they have every right to do. And I'm happy to see that. I think more people need to be waking up, and if showing, and, you know, sitting down for the anthem is just one thing you can do, you know, and I'm fine with that. You know, divest, sit down during the anthem, run for office. These are all things we need to do, because we truly have a bad setup going on, a bad system, a backward system even. So all the people need to stand up or sit down, whatever works, right?
Yes, absolutely. We definitely need to get equal justice. Well, I wanted to mention one thing that people don't know about the national anthem also is that it's only one verse of the song, the Star Spangled Banner, which on the third verse, it actually celebrates racism. People don't know that because it's not sung as our national anthem, but if you look it up, Francis Scott Key's, it's 4 verses, and the third verse literally celebrates race, slavery, and racism, essentially. So you talked about healthcare. Right now, we have a challenger to the governor, Josh Jones, and we have a challenger to Anthony Rendon, who her name's Maria Estrada. Anthony Rendon is the person who held healthcare in the Assembly for California, Healthcare for California. He's the Speaker of the House that held it up in the Assembly. Can you talk about your advocacy for healthcare? And do you think these two candidates running against, the people blocking healthcare is going to help us out?
Yeah, well, I, for one, was at the Assembly very soon after Rendon decided to hold up SB 562. I was at the Assembly with a lot of other protesters holding signs, sneaking in signs, actually, that said recall Rendon. And I yelled over the balcony to recall Rendon. So, I'm very active in that regard. I'm a friend and supporter of Josh Jones. He's a very good guy, and he knows what he's doing. He's very professional about his campaign, and I completely support his race for governorship. He and I are actually going to help each other. We share districts in Yolo County. Well, he's got the whole state, obviously, but he's over in Yolo County a lot, and that reaches into my district. And so we're going to help each other out with our campaigns. I hadn't heard about Maria Estrada.
Maria Estrada, now she's a Democrat, but she's the only opposition to Anthony Rendon. She announced her candidacy a couple of weeks ago, and she advocates for healthcare. So Healthy California is supporting her candidacy. It's fairly new, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll have to look into her more. One thing I'd like to say about healthcare is I'm about proper healthcare for all. So when it comes to SB 562, I'm a huge supporter because it would make healthcare a human right in California, and it should be a right everywhere. But I also want to make sure people know that I'm for alternative healthcare and homeopathic therapy and the use of CBD oils and marijuana, medicinal marijuana as treatments as well for cancer and other countless ailments as well. So, yeah, in that regard, I'm also on the committee for SB 562. I've been going business to business, or I've gone to businesses to inform them about SB 562 and how it would actually save a lot of money for businesses as well as just for every individual in the 99%, basically.
Yeah, specifically small businesses, because they don't have to compete with the larger corporations that supply healthcare when they have a hard time doing that.
Absolutely.
That's good work, Eric. And I just want to confirm that I've seen Eric many times in Sacramento at the events that advocate for SB 562, single payer healthcare. He's certainly a regular at those events. How about the tax plan that the Republicans are trying to pass right now? We know that they're trying to deconstruct the Affordable Care Act, but what do you think overall of that tax plan?
Well, it seems to me it's another tax break for corporations and for the upper echelon. They have, I think I saw a little snippet where it says, oh, it'll be a tax cut for your everyday Joe as well. But I believe they might cut taxes for your everyday Joe for a little bit, like not enough time to even matter, and then it comes back on us again. So another regressive tax. We've seen it from Democrats. We've seen it from Republicans. One thing we can't buy into is, oh, we need to be afraid of Republicans because of this, right? We have to be so afraid of Republicans that the only hope is to vote for Democrats. But that's what's been killing us over and over again. We need to know when people are giving us crumbs, incrementalist crumbs, and we need to know when people are really attacking us with these terrible regressive tax plans. But either way, we need some new blood in the system. Any
Absolutely.
system. We got judicial system, healthcare system. It's crazy.
Right. So I think it was Bernie Sanders who said they're going to pass this tax reform, which is essentially going to cut taxes for the upper 1%. And when they did that in the past, it's increased the national debt or the national deficit, and they've tried to take it back from programs like Social Security and Medicare and things like that. So obviously, they may not say it now, but in a long-term plan, that's their intention is to cut services to the working class. So you also want to talk about the regressive tax, the regressive gas tax, or which is related. So can you want to go forward with that?
Yeah, I wanted to make a statement on that because I haven't had the chance to. And this goes along with my point that either Democrats or Republicans, they're throwing these regressive taxes at us either way. California is very blue, and they're putting in this gas tax, completely regressive because, first of all, it's hitting every single driver in California. Every driver is seeing this tax at the pump. Second of all, what's this tax paying for? $52 billion into roads and bridges. Now, that might sound, oh yeah, we always need work on roads and bridges. Yeah, sure. But listen, there's people in cities all across California demanding affordable housing. Why can't we put some of this $52 billion into affordable housing, which is being demanded every week in Sacramento? If we're going to get $52 billion and taxed on we the people, at least give us something we need. I see construction on the streets and construction on the bridges all the time. I'm not going to see much of a difference from this gas tax, I guarantee it. So if we're going to tax us, let's get something we want out of it, something we need too, which is affordable housing for one.
Right. So what about other regressive gas tax, like even the cigarette tax? It seems like they pick an issue that seems to make sense, like we want people to stop smoking less, but the tax that they impose affects the working class much more disproportionately to the 1%.
Well, listen, people at the top have been getting away with murder for years and years and years. And every single sales tax is a regressive tax. Now, every single sales tax can and should be replaced by a tax on the uber rich that are literally getting away with murder. So, every tax coming to me. Meanwhile, what are our taxes going to anyway? Like you said, we've got things being pulled out of Social Security and being pulled out of healthcare and education, when half of our discretionary budget goes to war. So every single tax on we the people is not really worth a damn for us. It's for them up at the top. They're putting into war. They're putting into their own pockets. So I want to make one little point on tobacco, which I found interesting in this last week's city council, is that people showed up about the horrendous advertising towards children and towards minority and poor communities of the tobacco industry in Sacramento. There are flavored nicotine menthol tobacco products that are literally advertised towards children. They're in candy flavored. They're racist flavors as well, because there's a chicken and waffle flavor in Sacramento, and it's all the advertisements are in minority communities. So I don't know. I just want to make that point on tobacco advertising and how they're pushing it on our children.
Right. So Eric, what other issues did you want to cover, especially specific to Sacramento?
Well, we've really covered it. The homelessness is the #1 issue for me. And then healthcare. Healthcare is a human right, proper healthcare. We have these vacant lots and vacant buildings that we can use to save lives. We have the need for affordable housing and the demand for affordable housing every single week. Rents are going sky high in Sacramento. Rents are going up more in Sacramento than any other place in the country right now. So this is leading to more homelessness. And I've touched on the child trafficking issue as well, and the human trafficking, which is being swept under the rug even more so than the homelessness. So, it's all bad over here, and we need to reverse everything.
Sure. Okay. Well, certainly I'm wishing you luck to be able to win this campaign. Let's go back over and talk about your website and how people can donate and how people can volunteer to help you gain the signatures that you need.
Great. Thanks. So yes, the website once again is ericframeforsenate.org. You could donate on the contribution page. There's a contribution page on there. There's an issues page where you can check out all the issues that I'm speaking about. And on the contact page, you just send me an email if you're in the Sacramento area, especially. I could use all the support and volunteers I can get. Like I said, we're gathering signatures here very soon, door knocking very soon. You know, our campaign, you know, I believe it's the one campaign that can beat Richard Pan and this corporate Democrat. You know, there are other candidates, of course, but our campaign's the only one that could get enough blue support in a very blue district to win. So, you know, this is where it's at. And, you know, thanks for the support from anyone that's out there. I've got a few bumper stickers left. If anyone wants those for free, you can get in touch. Yeah, so yeah, please help out. ericframeforsenate.org. Keep spreading the love and the truth. That's what I say.
All right, Eric, I'm rooting for you, and I appreciate you doing this interview. I also appreciate you running on a progressive platform like you are. We need more statesmen like you. So good luck, all right?
Thanks so much, Mike.
Okay.